Hello there from Blackpool Pleasure Beach on a special after hours event. Tonight we are walking the Big Dipper. And Becca's here as well, in a vlog for the first time in how long?
A good long while. Over a year it has to be.
Yeah, definitely. And walking on a wooden roller coaster, something you've always wanted to do. At last. So it's Big Dipper, looking forward to the views?
Definitely, some of the best views in the park up there.
Excellent. So just a little reference point, you are allowed to bring spectators. I believe it's 2 per group, and the spectating area is actually in the Skyforce ride area. You get some great views of Big Dipper if you are standing where Sean is standing over there.
One of us goes at the front, then 2 of you, then one of us goes in the middle, and 2 of you, and then one of us goes at the back, okay? And the way we walk this is backwards. So we'll start on the brake run, which is the easiest place to do because it's nice and straight and flat. All good, obviously, like walk the big one. Once we're attached, we're in that order, and we can't swap people around and so on. So just make sure that when we set off, if you're desperate to go first, then you go first, and if you're desperate to go at the back, you go at the back, because we can't swap you around halfway around, all right? Okay. Right, let's do this then, okay?
So it's a good time to mention that this video will contain me talking, which will be unscripted talking. I will just be going through a bit of a list I've made of things to talk about in terms of the experience itself, including the physical aspect and other important information or just useful information really. But rather than it being like half an hour of me just talking the whole way through this video, there will be parts of it where there's music, there may be some of the real audio as well. But the reason I'm not using the real audio for most of this video is because quite a lot of it I sound like Darth Vader's brother because of I've had lung surgery in the past, so my breathing was quite heavy when we were doing some of the tougher parts of this walk. So yeah, there's going to be me talking, unscripted, and then at other parts there's going to be music.
Moving position you want this to move, you want the carabiners to be sat on that, pulling down on it like this, and you see I've got a bit of tension, it'll move. If I take the tension out of it, it doesn't move. Alright, so put it on there, but there is a knack to it, and it is tricky, particularly when you get to bits where you have to go over the metal. Alright, so be kind to yourself, you're doing good. Alright? Okay.
So just to follow up what Becca was being told there, the little pulley that you're attached to, the carabiner, I think that was what it was called, there is a knack to it, and the more that you walk along the Big Dipper, the more you'll get used to it. But at times you will find yourself you'll be going along and then you'll just sort of come to a bit of a stop, and you'll just have to readjust how you're carrying yourself along in terms of how you're walking along with the carabiner really, and you will get used to it. It is very fiddly. There is times in this video where you will see that I struggled at times, and the reason I've kept that in, I mean, I could have quite easily cut that out and gone, yeah, I perfected this. First time I've ever walked around a wooden roller coaster, but you wouldn't know it. It'll look like somebody that's done it for 20 years. I just feel like it wouldn't have been a true reflection of the experience if I cut out every time that I sort of had a little bit of a faff where I was fiddling with the thing because I wasn't doing it properly. But the Pleasure Beach staff who were on the walk with us, they were so helpful. It's like there was a couple of times where I got a little bit confused, and I was like, I managed to get myself quite flustered because I wasn't concentrating on like doing it properly. It was just like, oh, I'm stuck, I'm an idiot, I can't figure this out. And if there was any points where I was a bit like that, whether it was Nathan or Andy or Dane, they all helped out. They're all the people that were working for Pleasure Beach and did the walk at the time with us. And they were so helpful, whether it was with me, whether it was with Becca, whether it was with Sean, whether it was with Joe, whoever it was with, they were so helpful where at times that we did need help, because after all, this is the first time that any of us had ever done this. I just can't thank the team enough from the Pleasure Beach for making this a very, very enjoyable experience. Because I'm not going to lie, it was a challenging experience, but it is an experience that I will quite happily do many, many more times. And if this becomes a thing regularly at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, like Walk the Big One is every year, without doubt I will do it every year. No doubt about it. There is a full review at the end of the video, but just a bit of a spoiler for that. This is the best experience that you will do at Blackpool Pleasure Beach out of hours. No doubt about it. It is just an incredible event, and it was an incredible idea to put it together and make it a possibility. And even if you're not a roller coaster enthusiast, I think you'll love this. Anyway, that's enough of me talking for now. Let's move on, let's have some music, and we'll talk more about the experience a little bit after the music. So as can be seen from the footage, none of us were wearing boiler suits when we did the Water Big Dipper. However, there is the option to wear one of the Pleasure Beach branded boiler suits. They were offered to us all during the experience, or should I say at the start of the experience, but due to how warm it was at the time and the experience that me, Becca and Sean had all had from doing Water the Big One, we all thought that we'd be too warm with the boiler suits on and on top of the clothes that we'd already got on. I was in shorts. I got rid of my hoodie because I knew I'd be roasting, and it doesn't take much for me to be warm anyway, so I was just like, yeah, I'm not wearing a boiler suit. And I think it's great that you get the option to not wear it or wear it. I think that's a good touch from Pleasure Beach, because there will be people who want to wear the boiler suit, because what you have to bear in mind when you're walking around a roller coaster is it's like walking around a car workshop. So there's going to be grease, there's going to be oil. It's a roller coaster, it's an operational roller coaster, it's a wooden roller coaster. It gets battered by the elements of being on a seaside in an amusement park. Don't wear your best clothes for Walk the Woody. Wear decent footwear. I wore steel toe caps. Becca wore big heeled boots, not like something you'd wear on a night out, like proper boots. The Pleasure Beach staff were in steel toe caps too. Sean and Joe had heavy duty footwear on as well, so just bear that in mind. But before you do the walk, Pleasure Beach will send you over a bit of a list of things that you should know before you do it, and it's all stuff that I'm talking about now that they'll cover. So I just thought it was worth mentioning because, as can be seen in all the footage, none of us have got the Pleasure Beach boiler suits on, but we've all got harnesses on, so I just thought that was worth mentioning. Also, something that's really important, because I've seen quite a few people asking on social media what it's like in terms of physicality. If you do find this experience is too much halfway round or wherever during the experience, there is the option to quit, which I don't know how that would work exactly, but during the safety briefing at the start, which was excellently delivered by the way, we were told that there is the option to quit if you don't feel up to it, or you just can't deal with it anymore, or you're scared, or anything like that. There is the option to back out midway through the experience if it's not for you. And I think, again, like the option of a boiler suit or not wearing a boiler suit, I think it's great that that option is there, because not many people will have walked around a wooden roller coaster that are doing this experience. Of course, there is always the exception. There is going to be people that may have done this elsewhere as part of a job, or as part of working, as part of a job, or as another experience somewhere else. Not that I've ever seen this experience offered anywhere else. But yeah, it's not something that you do every day, so there is always going to be that time where someone who does it might think, do you know what, this isn't for me, I need to stop. There is the option to quit, and I think it was important to mention that. How are you finding it, Becca?
Excellent.
Excellent.
So good. Really, really good.
So many unique views of the Pleasure Beach.
There are. There really are.
How are you finding the physical effort so far?
I'm all good.
You're all good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quite as taxing as walking the big one so far, is it?
No, because you're not at the incline. You are for bits, but it's not a constant incline.
Yeah.
So it's very different to walking the big one. Very different.
And what do you think of being this close to Steeplechase and Icon? And the big one, you realise how close everything is.
Yeah. And how much bigger things seem when you're this close to them.
Yeah, Steeplechase especially.
Yeah.
Hey.
Like a pro.
Around the floor.
Now I've got to get over here. Got caught. There you go. Nailed it.
Nailed it, mate. What do you think of that?
That was insane. That was so good. Like, honestly, like, it's just amazing seeing like how like deep you are down, and like how close actually everything is to each other. Like, it's just stunning. And like, we had perfect weather for it as well.
Yeah.
Like that sun going down towards the end of it as well. It's just incredible. Incredible. Did you both have a good time?
Loved it.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Question is, would you pay to do it again?
100%.
Yeah.
I probably would pay it. I probably am going to pay to do it again, to be honest.
Yeah, same.
Just in case they don't bring it back, you know, like it's definitely, I'd recommend this for anyone. And even if like you're not a big fan of Dipper, like the fact that you can see like icon going through it, and it's just having all the views of the coasters everywhere, like there's just some unique views you'll never see anywhere else.
Agreed.
So once we were off the Big Dipper structure, it was time for a walk along the Pleasure Beach Express track back towards the station of the Big Dipper. This offered some more unique opportunities because, of course, the Pleasure Beach Express track runs alongside the Big Dipper, of course, the Big One, Infusion and Icon. But then it was back to Big Dipper for even more of the Big Dipper walk. Now, of course, when you think walk the Woodie, the first thing you think about is walking up the lift hills, and then you think, well, where do we go from here? Now, I completely understand, having done the walk, why the first, second and third drops of Big Dipper are not part of the walk, because, as I'm sure by now you'll have seen, I struggled at times with the little carabiner thing around walking around the track. So imagine trying to do that on the steepness of like the first drop, the second drop, the third drop. I'm actually quite glad they're not part of the experience, because I think that they would actually be too difficult, having never walked around a wooden roller coaster before. I think that's where it would become a bit too much of a challenge. So I think the parts of the Big Dipper that you walk around, whether it be from the station back to the turnaround by the Big Blue or up the lift hill, I just think that Pleasure Beach have got this experience absolutely spot on, and I cannot recommend it enough. So now, time for a little bit more music, and then it'll be on to the final wrap up of the video. So we have just completed Walk the Woodie at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Becca, how was that for you?
That was amazing. Just such an adventure, seeing so many bits that you just wouldn't see ever. Getting to actually stop and look at things that you're usually flying past at 40 miles an hour. Getting to see Icon up close, getting to see Steeplechase up close, getting to see the big one up close, getting to see parts of the Big Dipper that are still on sand from when it was still on the beach. You know, getting to see that kind of detail you just never get to see. It's such, there's just so much that you wouldn't expect, and just the amazing views. So I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everyone at Pleasure Beach who made this happen. Andy was at the front with us especially. He was great showing us all the fiddly bits that you've got to do to get you along, but just talking about it and showing us things, and everyone that was involved was amazing, from getting the harnesses on to actually going and doing it and explaining everything. It was amazing, so thanks for that, everyone who was involved.
I've always been curious what it'd be like to walk around one of the wooden roller coasters, and today that has happened. And as you could probably see from hearing from Becca and hearing from Sean from ParkSpill, what an experience. If you have thought about doing it and you haven't booked it, or you thought, Walk the Woodie, what's that all about? I hope this video has done a good job of showing a little bit of what it's about. I didn't want to give everything away tonight. When I next go on it now, I'm going to have a newfound appreciation for some of the hills, some of the drops, some of the corners, the profiling, how they've been built, the steepness, just everything about them. It's just been a wow experience. And I have to apologise at this point if the video hasn't been excellent. I have been concentrating a lot on the experience as well, and I think at some point I would like to do it again. I would 100% pay to do this experience over and over and over again. I've been thinking about doing Walk the Big One again for a long time, and now I'm sort of thinking, well, if I had to choose one or the other, I'd go with Walk the Woodie to start with, because Walk the Big One is a great experience because you get to go to the top of the big one. But walking Big Dipper, you walk a lot of the ride. You see so much of the ride that you wouldn't expect to see. And it's just like I say, it gives you a different perspective of what Big Dipper is and what it's like and what it does and the profile. And you just get to appreciate everything that goes into it in terms of how it's maintained, how it was built, how the ride operates. I could go on for ages about how good that was. It's honestly one of the best things I've ever done in my life, not just at Pleasure Beach, in my life. That is one of the best things I've ever done. And I honestly cannot recommend that enough. If you've had a tiny bit of doubt about doing it, about the price, about how you would feel, what the experience would be like, forget it. Just do it. Just get rid of any doubt and just do it. You will not regret it. It is one of the best things that you will ever do in an amusement park, if not the best thing that you will ever do. One thing is riding on roller coasters, another thing is walking around it. It's just a wow experience. Just, yeah, incredible. I'm going to be going on about this for ages. I am going to be going on about it for so long. One last thing I want to say before we close this video off. I want to give a massive thank you, firstly, to Pleasure Beach's PR and marketing team for giving Pleasure Beach Experience the opportunity to do this. It is an amazing opportunity that I am so thankful for. But also to the guys that walked us around it. Andy, Nathan, Dane and David, the team that took us round, harnessed us up. Of course Liam as well, he did the safety briefing. So big shout out to Liam and everyone else that's been involved in making this experience a possibility. The best experience you will have at a theme park anywhere this year. Get on Pleasure Beach's website, it's linked in the description. You have to do it, get it booked, do it. Let us know in the comments when you've done it, you will love it. Many thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.